Hi everyone, welcome back to Mad About Cards and Crafts. Today I'm sharing a farmhouse card using products from Gina K Designs. These are the inks that I'm using, and I use this Tailored Expression Shiplap, Thank You Friend for the Sentimet, Rustic Autumn for the Farmhouse, and the Jute. And I did stamp the background with that shiplap, and I did that in slate gray. Now I'm coming in with Gina K Design Tranquil Teal, and I will start building my wreath. I have not used my wreath builder in a while, and that's one of the reasons why I pulled it out, because I'm trying to use my products, and if I don't use them, I'm going to start destashing the ones that I don't. As you can see, I totally skipped that one corner, and I will go back and fix that, but for some reason I want to keep going in that diamond pattern. So when I readjust my paper, I go right past that corner again, and eventually I will figure it out that I need to go square. So I totally love the farmhouse look. I have some farmhouse elements in my house. One of the things that I have been very fortunate with is that I prefer, or love, I should say, antiques. And so I have many family heirlooms from both my husband's family and my family, and they are scattered throughout my house. One of the things that I love is the family history behind them. I can name, who my relatives are, because I have some of those really beautiful oval pictures, and I can name, where the pieces came from. I've had people come through and say, do you know where this stuff came from? And I say yes, and they say, well, can you tell me? And I kind of go through my house and share that with them, and it's always fun. And unfortunately, I have boys. Not, I shouldn't say that. It's not unfortunate. I am a boy's mom, and I adore having boys. But that being said, they could care less about the antiques. And so I'm hoping that one day they marry somebody who appreciates them and, wants to carry on the family history. I'm going to come in now with some sprigs, and I just wanted to add a little bit of leaves to the wreath, because I'm not really building a huge wreath. This is sea glass. The leaves are sea glass. That's what I'm going to stamp them in, and I'm going to stamp both the inside, and then I'll come back around and I will stamp them in the other direction. I thought about with this card, I thought about, doing the circle in the middle, and that's when I came up with the farmhouse, because I just love that shiplap. I think it's a fantastic stamp, as I said, and I wanted to play on that. And so I thought, let's do something a little bit different, and let's put a fussy cut stamp in the center. This square card is going to, the completed card will measure 4 3/4 by 4 3/4. The piece that I'm stamping on now is 4 by 4. So I love square cards. Do you like square cards? Does anybody use the wreath builder set? I'd love to know what you think about it. I thought it was a fantastic invention from Gina K. She's come up with so many fun products over the years, and that's one of the reasons why I really love purchasing her products. Her products have some staying power, and she has the most fabulous. If you've never been to her Facebook group, she has the most fabulous followers on her Facebook group, and I just adore the positivity that you find there, and it's just a welcoming page. So if you get a chance, check out the Gina K Design Facebook page. I'm getting ready for my cruise 1 week. Woo! I leave next Saturday, and of course we haven't had any snow, and they're expecting snow next Saturday, so I'm hoping that that forecast gets pushed out. We are supposed to have on Saturday, it's supposed to be about 65 degrees, and that is exciting to me. It hasn't been, as I've said, a really cold winter, but you know, to be in the 60s in January, that, you know, I really appreciate that. So next week we will fly out. I've got one of my bags packed. We're going to Rapid City today, actually, to purchase some odds and ends. I've been watching some of those what to pack for a cruise videos, and so, you know, there's some interesting things that I never thought to bring. Clamp, so just, you know, a little clamp, because they, you know, say that it's typically windy at sea, so if you put a clamp on your towel on your chair, then it will keep it in place if you have to get up and get something. All of the walls are magnets, so you can get different hangers that are magnetized, so you have extra hanging space to put things on. A highlighter to highlight the things that you want to do on the itinerary. Just little small things that, you know, will help make your trip a little bit nicer. We are doing only carry-on, so this is going to be interesting. I'm going to have to be really careful with the number of liquids that I use. I'm going to be doing that research on the TSA site. I think it's 1 quart, but that you're limited to, so we're going to have to make sure that we stay within those perimeters. Back to the card, I am stamping that small flower in warm cocoa. I wanted to bring in just a little bit of brown. I love teal and brown and gray. I just think that it's very pretty together. And since we're not doing a summery card, it lends itself well to that farmhouse theme. So back to the cruise. I have to print all of my documents this week, and then I'm going to be working on videos, and I'm so hoping that I have time to upload, at least, you know, put something in the queue to give you one video the week that I'm gone. And if I don't answer, obviously I'm not going to pay for the internet. I'm going to, you know, really try to disconnect for the week. So I won't be answering any of my messages, but I will, or comments, but I will when I get back, or if I get into port and I have a little bit of free time. So back to the card, I'm going to come in with just this little tiny piece. I'm not going to get it all the way around. It's not going to fit all the way around. It's kind of like a little asterisk, I would say, and that I'm stamping in Warm Glow. Or no, this is the heart. I'm sorry. The heart I actually stamp in Tranquil Teal. So the heart I'm going to get all the way around, and that I will. So I'm going to stamp it in Tranquil Teal. There are a couple places, as with the flower, that I have to take it off. I don't know, somehow I got a little bit off. The wreath itself looks very symmetrical, but there's just a couple spots that I pull it off, and then right here, and then I just replace it on the Misti. And the same was for that brown flower. You saw that there was one where I just didn't like the way that when I turned it in one of the directions, I didn't like the way that it was kind of crunched up on one side, so I did end up taking it off and repositioning it for that direction. And then, as I said, I'm going to come in with like an asterisk flower and do the Warm Glow. I did, as I said, do the fussy cutting for the farmhouse off camera, and then I'm going to come in with some ocean mist, and I will do a little bit of ink blending with that. Sorry for my dogs. We must have, if you can hear them, we must have deer in the yard, and so they're downstairs and they're kind of barking out the back door. I have barkers. Do you have barking dogs? I cannot get them to stop. They bark at everything. They're afraid of people, so they bark at people. They bark at other animals because they're afraid of other animals. They bark at the deer. They bark at the turkeys. They bark at the traffic coming down the street. Oh my goodness, it's so crazy. They can just drive me up the wall with their barking sometimes. But, we did adopt them. We've never got a purebred dog. We've always adopted from either a shelter or an animal rescue. And so all three of them are rescued. One of my younger ones, I have two that are the same age, and one of them is what they call a mountain cur, and she was rescued from Oklahoma from in a deplorable environment. The person had bred them, and then there were three girls that she couldn't sell. And when the person went to get them out of the house, they were in the backyard in a muddy pit with food filled with maggots. They all had urinary tract infections, and it was just, like I said, a very deplorable situation. And so she has had UTIs, and she was really more difficult to potty train because she tends to have accidents, and she has them in her sleep. So I understand why she's afraid of everything, because she just came from just a terrible situation. And I don't know what my black lab, what his situation was. I do know that he's very ADD, and and so I had him in dog classes for the past 3 weeks, and we'll be working with him. But the barking is something that we just have to work on and get it under control a little bit better. So this right here is the sentiment that says, "Thank you, friend." I'm going to stamp it with VersaFine ink, or Versamark ink, sorry, and then I'm going to come in with some very old embossing powders. This is from Inkadinkadoo. It was the very first embossing powder that I got. It's called Black Graphite, and I got a set, I want to say it's a set of 6. When I first started embossing, this is what I found, and it has been in my stash from day one, from the first time that I started heat embossing. So I'm going to put that back in very carefully, and then I will come in with my heat tool. I will have started to warm it up, and then the magic will happen. And this is where I come in with that ocean mist. I'm going to concentrate on the barn door because I want that sentiment to really stand out. And in real life, you can see the patina look to this barn, but on the card, the final card, I don't think that it shows up quite as well. But I do, like I said, concentrate that one area so that the sentiment is highlighted. And then I will start building my card. I'm going to use some double-sided adhesive foam tape to pop it up. There you go. That's the trying to figure out where I want to put it. So I'm going to come in with that double-sided tape. That roll came from Amazon and I love it. It was about $11 for a very big roll, and I like the dimension of it, and it works just as well as the 3M, so it's a lot less expensive, and I'm probably going to just stick with this as long as I can find it on Amazon. I'm going to cut down, the strips. This takes a little bit of time. One of the most frustrating things for me is taking the backings off all of the double-sided tape and the pop dots and all of that. Do you guys get frustrated with that? It just seems that, it gets static cling is what happens. It sticks to my fingers, and so then I can't get it off. So I'll start peeling this back. The little pokey tool from Spellbinders works really well for this, but I'll start, pulling it back. It's getting it off my fingers. It's like I have to like flick it. Sometimes I have to pull it off with my mouth because the static cling is so bad. Do you guys have that problem, or is it just me? Am I just full of static electricity? Let me know, because like I said, that's one of the frustrations, is trying to get that stuff off of my fingers once I get it off of the back of the taping. So I'm just going to come in and do this, and then I'm going to start building my card. I'm going to use a Gina K Designs Slate cardstock, and that's going to be cut down to 4 1/4 by 4 1/4, and then I'm going to come in with what I believe to be Blue Lagoon, and I'm going to cut that down to 4 1/2 by 4 1/2, and that will be layered. And then I will come in with some more of that foam tape to add a little bit of dimension to the back of the Blue Lagoon piece, and then I will put it on a card base that is Nina Solar White 110-pound cardstock at 4 3/4 by 4 3/4. That stamped panel with the shiplap, that is Nina Solar White 80-pound cardstock. So now I'm just going to start layering these up. And I think I got it pretty straight. I do have to pull up the dimensional piece because I felt like it wasn't on quite straight, so I will have to fight with that, and you'll see me fight with that a little bit. So here I'm going to come in, turn it over, and start putting that. Oh, I actually have some jute in my stash. I don't know where it came from, can't tell you, but I am going to add that to the side of the card to give it, to continue to give it that rustic look. I'm going to use my washi tape just to hold it in place, so I'll wrap it around 3 times, and this is why I decide to put the dimensional tape on the back, because the jute will the jute will have more dimension on the back of the card, and it won't lay flat, so I just add dimension to the other areas, and then I'll add glue straight to the jute area. And that's gonna about complete my card. I will, let me know if you would like me to share the cards, the other cards that I made and how I made them. I used to do that. I used to not do process videos. I've only been doing process videos for a couple of months, and I would come on here with the cards that I've shared on Instagram and go through the products that I used and talk about how I created those. And I haven't done that in a while, so if you're interested in that, leave a comment below and let me know. And I've had several new subscribers. I want to welcome you to my channel and thank you for subscribing. If you are watching this and you haven't subscribed, please hit subscribe and like. I have to, in order for me to be monetized at all, I have to have 1,000 subscribers. I'm at 200, so thank you very much. But I would very much like, if you like my video, to please comment and give me the likes, because what that does is it helps me get more exposure on YouTube. I've said this before, and the algorithms will, work in my favor and allow me to get more exposure and hopefully get more subbies. So I thank you in advance for your help in that. I have several people who have just been wonderful in helping to both promote my channel and have supported me by liking and subscribing and commenting. And I really like engaging with my audience. I don't want people to just come on here and watch, part of my video and shut it off. And, I'm not looking for, looking for views in that way. I really am hoping that I'm creating content that you enjoy and that will continue to bring you back, and that I can get to know you a little bit better, because, that's, for me, that's the fun part of this. I enjoy making cards. The videos are a little tedious at times, but it's the interaction with you that I absolutely love. So thank you to all of you who continue to comment, answer questions, ask questions, and support. That just means a lot to me. So I'm just going to tighten up this bow. I'm going to cut off the excess, and then my card is going to be finished. So I'll show you a final look of the card. Thank you again for watching. Have a great weekend. Bye-bye.